again, like I told the other one, your group is doubled in size from the earlier race. Think before you start to move up through the group. Don't try to force a bad, spot. Everybody set? Right safe.
All right, we are back. Pacific Raceways, men's Cat 4-5, 6:45 p.m. race. We have 30-some guys racing. This is the second race of the day. We also raced at 5:30, but only about a third of us from this race were in that 5:30 race. A couple interesting things tonight. Number one, most interesting thing, is we are racing a different format. This is points per lap. So, I'll talk about that a little bit. Other than the first lap, so this first lap you don't score any points. Every other lap after that, first person across the finish line gets 2 points. Second across the finish line, 1 point. Everybody else, 0. What you're doing is trying to accumulate the most amount of points by the end of the race. So it's pretty simple. Basically, it's like racing the last lap every lap. So as you'll see, and as you can imagine, and if you race in this, it's pretty exciting. It gets pretty hot. I know it doesn't look super exciting right now. It's a neutral lap, but it'll get pretty spicy. And unfortunately, I get to be involved a couple times, which I'm excited about. And then very not involved, which we'll talk about later at the end. But yeah, so the format really pretty simple, right? You just want to win, or at least get second place every lap. I should add a little modifier to that. So the points per lap format only applies for the Pacific Raceways series, so the PR series, which tracks the week-to-week races and overall leaders. And of course, for the 4-5 category, it gets very complicated because if you do well enough at PR a couple weeks in a row, that's usually enough to move up to Cat 3, which has happened to my team a lot. We've had a lot of guys from our developmental squad, our Devo squad, do well, get upgraded, and then not be in this race anymore. So it's kind of been chaotic and crazy. Our teams, the guys that show up to the race keeps changing. But anyways, I digress. Points per lap. That's the goal if you want to win and do well for the PR series. So if you actually want to stand on the podium tonight, you need to have the most amount of points from the points per lap format. However, for USAC points, so that's USA Cycling, those are the points that you accumulate to upgrade. Those are going to come only from your finish on the final lap. So there's essentially 2 races within this race. And my team and I, we talked about this in our pre-race chat. We always meet up 10 or 15 minutes early, and we talk about personal goal strategies, etc., right? Which is one of the great things about being on a team. You get to come in with the strategy. So one of the things we talked about is who wants to go for the points per lap. Is there anybody who wants to sit in and rest up for the final and try to get the USAC points? And most folks said yes to the points per lap. I think everybody's pretty excited. For the most part, the guys on our team that were really excited about upgrading have already done so. A lot of us are, we're looking to upgrade, but not in as much of a rush. We did have one guy that wanted to, and I won't say who it was, but we had one person that wanted to go for the final lap win, which is awesome to get those upgrade points. So we all tried to be supportive of that. The other thing is we are on the flat course for the first time this season. So this is probably what you'd call the standard Pacific Raceways course. It's pretty flat. There's this very slight grade going up now, and then it's going to switch to a slight down, and then it falls flat going through the start finish. None of that is plays a huge factor. You'll see the speeds will vary quite a bit. Like it will go fast right now. It'll kind of go slower through the start finish as it becomes like a false flat. Corners. I know it looks on the map in the bottom right, the course layout. It looks like there's a hairpin at the top and sharp turn at the bottom, but really, there's only really 2 sections where there's, for a brief period, kind of the feel of a corner where you can kind of hammer it out of the corner if you want. But for the most part, really flat. Really straight course. Fantastic for the big guys. Great opportunities to attack and get into breakaways. Unlike the... oh, wait. I'm going to attack right now. I almost forgot. Second lap. I'm going to do a mini attack. It's not going to be crazy. I almost forgot I did this. I get some separation, but somebody sees me. I look back right there. I look back and I see him, and I can't really see anybody else behind him, but it looks like the whole race is coming on, so I immediately start to kind of drop it down. It's the second lap. I mean, let's be honest. With my power profile on the second lap, I'm not going to get away, and that wasn't really the goal, right? The goal is, this race for me, I wanted to attack at least twice, I wanted to lead out once, and then I wanted to somehow be involved with the final sprints. I'm just sharing my goals right now. So that was my first attack, and it was really early, and I knew it wouldn't do much, but I want to practice it, right? And that was a better attack than I've done in the past, not power-wise or separation-wise, but where I started my attack from. I had teammates on the front, so I was able to attack with them on the front, making it a little bit harder for folks to jump onto my wheel. And then I didn't burn myself to pieces on my attack. I just made a big surge. I held a high power. I saw that I wasn't going anywhere, and then I just kind of eased off. And I'm still on the front, but I'm soft pedaling, as you can see. And the rest of the race is going to kind of come up and take over the lead here in a moment. I'll recover. So, yeah, so that was the cool first thing that I got to do. I will get to lead out. I'll be involved in a pretty cool lead out a little later, not this lap, but the next one. But we are now going into the first scored lap. So the very first lap we did was called a neutral. It wasn't a neutralized lap, but a neutral lap. So you couldn't score. It didn't matter who came across the finish line. I probably should have mentioned that. I got distracted by my attack. It didn't matter what order we came across the finish line. That first lap, there were no points available. Now, you could still attack in the first lap. You could try to get away in a break. You could do anything that you wanted in a race format. It wasn't neutralized the way you have like certain road races start, where you're following a lead car, you can't pass the car. The race was on, just no points available. So not much happened that first lap, which allowed me to talk about the formats. Now I'm kind of in the back, recovering a little bit, but you can see my heart rate, 160. We're going downhill. It's a very slight downhill, but it matters, right? We're going 30 miles an hour. I'm doing, zone 1 watts. I'm sure even the person on the front is probably not doing anything too crazy. So although I said the course is flat, there is like this little bit of grade going down and then going back up. This part of the course is a little rough, unfortunately. Once you get past that little drag strip area which we just went over, there you can kind of see the pavement's not in great shape. It's starting to kind of fall apart. You get a little bit of gravel on the inside, and I like to take an outside line when I can. There tends to be a bit of a hammer out of that kind of turn. I don't know what to call it exactly, but you do have to hammer a little bit. And then this is a slight uphill grade. It's not a lot, but it's enough that you can hit it pretty hard, and you can kind of hurt the people behind you if you want. And for me, right, like I'm in the draft, but my heart rate's going up, so that gives you an indication that there is a little bit of grade. Now the grade goes back down as we start to approach into the start-finish line. So this will be the first scored lap. I'm way back. I mean, I attacked the last lap, so I'm kind of in recovery mode. I'm way back, so I don't even know that I'm going to be able to tell who got points. Maybe you guys can see on a bigger screen than my editing screen, but yeah, it's getting pretty stretched out. We're up to 30 miles an hour, which is pretty quick coming through here. You can see my heart rate's climbing back up. And that's it. So points were distributed. One person got 2, another person got 1. Everybody else, 0 points. So everybody else that you can see in my camera, right, we all have 0 points. So somebody right now is in the lead already with 2 points. We can see I think that's a Masters race. It's coming opposite from us, so this course is kind of cool. You go down the same road in reverse directions as you're coming back down the course. And now I'm moving back up, so I feel better. I recovered a little bit. Usually whenever I see the race, if I'm in the back and I see the race really starting to like spread out and bunch up, if I have speed, I just take the momentum, move back up, and now I'm up on sixth wheel. There's a little attack. It's a relatively good time to attack. It's after we were going pretty quick, going pretty hard, and it's coming into another sort of turn. I mean, I say they're sort of turns because you can pedal through these. You have to be a little cautious on the second one, and you have to be cautious if you're taking an inside line. But if you're taking more of an outside line, you can, if you need to, pedal through these. And that's kind of what these guys do. Whoever attacked, what would have made the most sense, right, is to continue that move around that turn and really let things split out, because you can see that it's a little bit single file at the moment. It's going to bunch up. I think it's about to bunch up pretty hard right now as we all slow down. Yeah, 25 miles an hour. It's gonna slow way down. So if you want to get away, right? If you want to attack and get away, and you're gonna want to use that turn, like you really got to come hard out of that turn and stay on it. Otherwise, it ends up being really easy to sit in a draft and just watch the whole race come back together. So this next portion of the race is going to be my lead out. So I have my teammate Luis on my wheel. We've got Noah. You can't really see him. He's got the Higgins Berman guy in front of him, but Noah up there in the black helmet, Gene Johnson kit. So the GJ, it kind of looks like a GJ. In my rearview camera, you got Luis, and you'll see you've got JD's coming up on Luis's right, on your left on the camera, and they're coming up behind me, and they're talking. I can hear them. Hey, do you want to go for it? What do you want to do? And you can see I did like a little head tilt, right? Like I can hear them back there. I'm aware that they're back there, and JD's letting me know, right? And that's where the teamwork thing really comes in here. So JD's letting me know we're like 10th wheel. This Hagen Berman guy is kind of hanging out on the side here, which gives me an opening to move up if I need to, but I can sit in his draft. And then JD's like, okay. He's like, we've got two on your wheel. I overcooked it just a hair there and lost JD, but he's going to come back, and then he's going to tell me right now, hey, we've got three on your wheel. So this is my cue, right, to lead out. I'm not going crazy, but I'm going hard enough to try to string it out. Okay, so now Noah's going to drop in. So now I have, it's either 3 or 4 on my wheel. Noah, and then JD, and then Luis. And now I'm going to start picking it up, right? Get up to about 700 watts. You can see I'm looking down at my power. I know I can hold about 700 watts from here to the 200 meter line, roughly. Like I'm aware that I can approximately do that, so that's my goal. Hold 700 watts. And I'm going to go as long as I can. You can see there's one Fount rider that's kind of trying to sneak up. And then flick my elbow, probably like the 250 mark. I didn't make it as far as I wanted to, and then there they go. Noah's going, but I don't know what happened there. Noah kind of slowed down a little bit. Yeah. I don't know that we got the result there. It didn't work out quite the way I think we wanted it to. Ideally, Noah, instead of snapping from my wheels, he would have taken over the lead out. JD would have stayed on his wheel, and then Noah would have cranked it up. Not full blast, but like a little bit harder, and then carried JD and Luis up to the finish line. Also, you can see I overcooked it a little bit there, and I didn't realize as I was catching my breath, the whole race came zipping past me, and I found myself in no man's land. So a little panic moment here. I remember thinking, oh God, I don't want to get dropped on the third lap, or I guess it's the fourth lap, but I was able to jump back in. I mean, you can see the race is super spread out right now. I got really lucky, and everybody just completely dropped off the speed. So lucky for me. I need to probably be a little bit more cautious in the future when I'm doing a lead out like that, and not got to remember, right, that's not the finish. This isn't the last. On the last lap you can lead out like that, right? It doesn't matter. You lead out like that, and whatever your finish is, it is. But early in the race, leading out for points per lap, if you go too hard like I did and kind of overcook, yeah, that can get a little risky. And even now, right, it's still, I mean, my heart rate's still 175, which, you know, anytime in the 170s, like I'm in the hurt zone, right? Maybe not at the edge of getting dropped, but like I'm not feeling great, right? Like, you know, 30 seconds of like hard effort for somebody on the front could put me in trouble. But I mean, it's, what is it? 8 guys wide, 10 guys wide. I mean, this is like the race completely just died down here, which is almost like it was meant for me. You know, it's just like good luck, right? Like when I'm hurting, like everybody else just kind of just dropped and started chilling. So, and I'm going to spend basically this next lap recovering. That's that's essentially like a maximal effort for me doing that lead outs. 30 seconds at 700 watts plus whatever I did prior to that is probably like near the high end of what my power profile is right now. So if each lap is, let's say, like 4 minutes roughly, I don't know exactly how long they are, but yeah, 4-minute recovery, that's fine. You'll see, like, I'll chill out back here for a little while, and then I'll just kind of creep up. So yeah, it took me actually it only took me, I guess, like a half a lap because the race was going so slow. If the race had stayed hot, it would have taken me a full lap to recover. But yeah, half a lap, kind of moving back up. Teammate Aaron up here in the white helmet, and I got Zach to my right, Noah to my right. So I've got a couple teammates. We're doing a good job. Daniel's up here. We're doing a decent job of being up near the front. We're not on the front. Got Founts, Apex, ACT, Premier, Higgins, Bermans. We've got like all the teams that bring multiple people all up in the front. So we do need to be cautious. We don't want like a break of like 3 or 4 whatever really strong guys from other teams. So we've got to kind of watch out. It looks like Aaron's the frontmost guy. I'm 7th wheel or so, which actually puts me in a cover position. I would need to cover any moves that go, which could be risky. I mean, I said I'm recovered, but I'm recovered enough to be in the race, but I don't know if I'm recovered enough to like really cover a good attack. So it probably should be somebody else further up than me right now, but I'm here, and it's always kind of a we'll see what happens situation. Okay, so going to start finish. Looks like I think a Premier guy, Premier Racing. Oh, he just kicked off the front. I think Aaron, my teammate, was on his wheel, and Aaron was like, oh, it's too much. Aaron let him go. That opened a gap. I think the Fount guy's trying to chase him down, but, with a couple hundred meters to go, like if you're able to get a little bit of a gap, that can be enough. And I think it was. Premier got first, and then the Fount guy who tried to close, I think he managed to keep second. So, good job by them. And everything's strung out, and it's actually staying relatively fast. Yeah, we're coming through here still at speed, which is surprising because I think the guys that just won this lap are still on the front driving it. Okay, they're slowing down a little bit now, but that's hard, right? It's hard to come through and sprint for the finish and then keep the heat on. But they did. So good for them. They're now going to be in recovery mode. I think this is number 81 up here in the white. Premier guy, white and green. There's a counterattack, beautifully timed counterattack. My teammate, I think that's Noah, covers it on the far right up there. That was a great counterattack. I don't know what team that was. It was a guy in a black jersey, but yeah, he just, as soon as like the guys that sprinted for the start finish, as soon as they were caught, he went, which was beautiful. I think it was Noah, my teammate. He came up on the right. Maybe it was JD. Sorry, Noah or JD. Actually covered the move from the right side, so that's really like a heads up. It's really a heads up situation. I wasn't quite ready to jump in with that cover. I just kind of followed the rest of the guys, so I'm still recovering a little bit. You can see my heart rate still, it's 170 or something, so still a little high, still in recovery mode. And I believe for the next lap or so, I kind of just sit in here, middle of the pack. What I'm thinking in my head is, I let out on the second lap, or for the second points lap, and that went pretty well. I'm feeling good today. My recovery score, surprisingly, my Garmin was really low. It was like -6, which is really, really low, really bad, but actually felt pretty good. So I'm going to try to continue to be active. Everything's slowed down right now, but I've got teammates all going up to the front. Daniel is attacking from the left. He's just rolling off the front. It's beautiful. He tucked down. He did it kind of really, really sneaky. And he's not really getting chased, actually. Like, there are people kind of accelerating, but 25 miles an hour through here is not that fast. So they are, and when I say they, I'm talking about the opposing teams. They're kind of just letting him go. I forgot about this. This is interesting. I'm imagining there's going to be a big acceleration as we come into the turn, but for the moment, my teammate Daniel is up the road. He's got probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, maybe 6 or 7 seconds. But it'll start getting hot here. Yeah, you can see I'm. I think I did like 400 watts, 500 watts out of the corner, and now the speed's coming up. His gap is closing fast. Okay, the guy in black. There's probably more than one guy in black. This guy in black. He's going. He's putting in the effort. He's chasing Daniel down. I'm doing decent watts all the way in the back, so they're definitely chasing him now. We're probably going to lose them for a moment as they come around the right there, but Daniel's still got a gap of, let's say, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 seconds. So the gap is down by half. Oh, I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't even know if my camera's high enough to see. Yeah, we're at 30 miles an hour. We're going fast. It's right in front of me. Such a big guy. Like, I can barely see up the road. I see Daniel. Ooh, he's... Oh, man, that's close. It looks like he's getting overtaken right at the line. But I think Daniel will get a second, which is great. That's worth the point. And race is going fast. 28 miles an hour through here. That's pretty decent. We're coming into that uphill. This is usually about the time that things start to slow down a little bit. And I've got some good wheels in front of me. A bunch of the ACT racers. I've got Ryan Spivey from Apex. So I'm pretty far back, but it's always good to know who's in front of you. Know the guy that's in front of you. Know that they're not going to let a gap, not let a gap open, and you can stay on that wheel. So looks like there's little counter moves going up there. Not too big, but you can see things are kind of stringing out there. Folks are playing around a little bit in the front, but if you can't get that separation, I think before coming into this turn up here, it's probably not going to happen. So we're going at decent speed, but it's all sticking together. We're probably down 5 guys by now, 5 or 10 guys maybe from the number that started the race. I don't know exactly, but as the race continues, you can just see it it just gets a little bit thinner. People put in efforts to close gaps, and then there's an acceleration, and they just kind of get spit out one by one. That happens. Okay, another attack from the left. This guy in black again. This is one of those guys that is doing so well, he's not going to be a Cat 4 for very long. He's one of those guys that we've had a couple of those on our team that are just they're just a notch stronger than everybody else around them. And are really making the race exciting. So, yeah, he's up there, made an attack, and then I think it got caught, and then somebody counterattacked him, and then he's jumping on that wheel, and the race kind of strings out. And again, it's 28 miles an hour in this slight downhill, so we're not really bombing it. I mean, anytime you can see there's 3 or 4 racers wide, we're not going that hard, right? There's like little gaps, little things opening up. Nothing too major, nothing to be scary about. If there's gaps opening up like that and we're doing like 32 miles an hour, that could be a problem, right? That means that there's some people getting away. So you can see what looks like a couple of guys are starting to get away. But it looks like somebody from Fount is on the front, and they're chasing it down. So I don't even know who's up there. I'm so far back at this point that it's hard for me to tell what all is going on in the front of the race. Other than like the couple little things I did, it's a lot of it's a lot of mid-pack stuff for me in this race, which, you know, kind of makes sense, right? Put out a hard effort, recover, hard effort, recover. And then I see a wheel, ACT rider, and I say, hey, what the heck? You know, this is a time to move up a little bit. This is going to force us into the inside line, which I don't like, but you got to make your move up when you can. And fortunately, he's not going to really hold. He's going to kind of drift back here, and so I actually ended up losing wheels. That happens. It's just, you know, bad luck, kind of maybe a bad luck decision by me, but I'll move up on myself a little bit. And the break, can't really call them a break, but the separation, it was a group of 3, it looks like, have now been caught, and then one of the guys from Premier up on the front, they're in the white, they're also in white jerseys. So ACT, Premier, white jerseys. ACT has a black circle, and Premier has a green bar across. Neither team is huge. I mean, ACT is pretty well represented, but Premier always has just 1 or 2 guys in the race. I think he counterattacked with 31 miles an hour. That's good. That means we're going hot. But it looks pretty together in the front, actually. So even though we're going fast, we've got a lot of guys contending for this 6th lap, which is pretty cool. I think all the previous laps have just been like a couple guys off the front contending. Now it's like a big group trying to contend. And while they're contending, I am content to sit in and try to get a little bit of gas left back. Because at some point, again, we're going to try to coordinate for another Gene Johnson lead out to get us some more points. So the next thing that is coming up is, let's see here. I think my teammate Noah is going to come up. He's going to let me and Luis know. Luis is in front of me that he's going to move to the front, and he's going to offer us a wheel to move up, which is something that we probably should be doing more often. You know, if you're going to sit in the wind to move up in the front, I do this all the time, right? I'll go out in the wind to move up, and those are really good opportunities to bring a teammate up, right? Which is what Noah's going to do here. He's like, hey, jump in, boys. So I jump on his wheel, kick up the power for like a second, and then I'm in his draft, and he's going to take me from 20th wheel up to, where are we at? 8th? That's awesome. JD's behind me, and so now with Noah's little effort, I'm kind of back in the race. You can see us pedaling through that turn. Not going fast, 24 miles an hour, but just something to keep in mind. Like you can pedal through that turn. But now Noah's gonna muscle this poor Premier guy out. I don't know if he even realized he was doing it. The Premier guy had that wheel, and Noah just kind of came over and like took it. I don't know that it was intentional. Noah's not an aggressive racer like that, but yeah. Anyways, now the Premier guy is caught out. We've got Luke here in the white. I think he's I think his club's name is like Seattle Cycling Team or something really simple like that. They're kind of moving up. I'm trying to figure out if I have an opportunity to move up a little bit more. So I'll try to jump on Luke's wheel. He and the Premier guy are, I don't know, they're talking about who's going to get in the draft. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, you just kind of get in these like slower parts of the race where people are just everybody's trying to recover, right? Save those few little watts, get as much little draft as they can. And I'm always happy being behind a big guy. You know, big guy's going to give you a little bit more draft. So, yeah, 8th wheel or so, which is fine. This actually, you know, watching this video now, this would have been a good, another good lap for Gene Johnson lead out. I've got JD on my wheel, but I don't think we have anybody else back there. I think Noah got pushed back a couple wheels, and I didn't know JD was back there. So, although this would have been a good opportunity, it just didn't quite come together. Just the communication, I think sometimes when our team is so big, is a little tough. You know, who's moving up and when. So, I think, let's see here. I wrote myself a little note. Oh, yeah, okay, Luis, who's one of our top Cat 4 guys, right on the verge probably of going to Cat 3. He is going to do a solo attempt here, which I love, but I'm actually kind of bummed out by, because JD and I were here. We could have initiated this lead for him, but we didn't know. He didn't tell us. We didn't communicate with him. So he's going to go, and he's going to go from way, way, way out. Like, I don't know, 1.5 kilometers. I have no idea, but he's going from way, way out. and everybody's on it like instantly, right? I go a little bit because I see guys going. You know, I see an apex wheel, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to jump on this wheel. I don't need to get all the way up there to like fifth or sixth wheel, but yeah, Luis is still going. He still actually has a gap. So the gap closed a little bit, and then it reopened. So Luis was off the front. He's still off the front. The gap started to close down, and then the gap reopened, which is crazy. That's awesome for Luis. But these guys finally get a little bit more organized. Whoever's chasing him, I'm not certain. They get a little bit more organized, and Luis has been out for so long that they are going to catch him. I think he ends up getting third. So, I mean, like 30 meters before the line, they kind of pip him, and he ends up third. But still an awesome effort for him. I really believe that if JD and I had known that was happening and that he was interested in that, and we had initiated that move for him, we could have launched him. And with his power profile, he could have definitely stayed away and got that win. So that's something for us to think about. You know, there he goes. He's going back now to rest. And then Noah, smart guy, counterattack, counter move, beautiful. We caught the guys that sprinted, and Noah he doesn't go super hard. He just rolls off the front, takes the guy with him. Beautiful move. Noah is somebody you always have to watch out for. He has actually won, between this year and last year, won PR a couple times, but every time from a breakaway. He's just really smart about it. Oh, the guys coming through on the left. Sorry, I just remembered about them. This is, I think they're the 1, 2, 3s. I don't know, but we're neutralizing for them. Regardless of who they are, we're neutralizing for them. The break that Noah's in technically doesn't have to neutralize for them, just move out of their way. I don't know if they know that, but yeah, I can see the two of them up on there to the left of the screen. They're still off the fronts, but they won't stay away. I know we eventually will catch them. But bad stuff's about to happen. Not this lap. We got the wrong lap. Okay, we're still in it. Bad stuff's going to happen next lap. Okay, sorry about that. I jumped the gun a little bit. We're going to get neutralized again later on, and then it's gonna lead to bad stuff for me and a couple other people. But yeah, so we're still in the mix. We're 2/3 of the way through the race. I'm actually feeling a lot better now. My heart rate's in the 160s. We're going fast. I'm not up like way up near the front, but I feel ready to do something. I feel like, okay, I'm ready to, like, if we can get the guys organized, we're spread out all over the place. I mean, I don't even have a teammate around me right now, but if we can get organized, maybe we can do another lead out. We can try for another lap. Okay, JD's on my wheel. JD's good about it. Okay, we talked about this before the race, trying to stick together. We did a terrible job of it, but JD's good about it. I like to hang out in the front. JD here in the black helmet, he likes to hang out in the fronts. Not that we're in the front right now, but in theory, we like to hang out in the front. We like to be involved. So I think he was always kind of finding me. I did notice him in my rear camera a lot. I've got Bryson. He just came up. So now we actually have a group of 3, which is great. But JD, who's in front of me, for the first time ever, said he has bad legs today. Never heard him say that. So he has bad legs today. And so I knew being on his wheel, I was like, okay. We're probably not going to do much. Oh, I should point out again, by the way, so what looks like a big gap, like there's a gap in our race, it's not. That's still the other race. I don't know if that's a chase group or that might be a breakaway, a huge breakaway if it is. That's a different race than us. So we're kind of neutralizing right here. And it creates kind of a fun situation for me. I get to kind of be involved here in a moment, but normally we're coming through this section, somewhere between like 25 and 30 miles an hour. There might be a team leading out, or like Luis trying to do like a solo or something. Normally this is where things really ramp up as we come into the points per lap finish line, but this time it doesn't. It just goes really chill, and I'm up here in like 6th wheel, and somebody's gonna attack from the left. There it goes, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I'm not a sprinter, but I'll give it a shot, right? So I give it some gas, I jump in, I've got a wheel in front of me, I'm 4th wheel, what the heck? Who knows, right? I mean, like, You got to take these opportunities. And the attack fades, and then I'm starting to lose the wheel of the guy in front of me, but it's enough for third. So couldn't keep the wheel of the guy in front of me. If I were actually a sprinter, or if I don't, okay, little secret, I actually don't even know how to sprint. I don't practice it. But if I knew a little bit more about sprinting or had the ability, I actually was in perfect position to actually have won that lap because I had a wheel that was leading me out. In fact, the wheel that was leading me out, another guy had to actually come all the way around me to get on that wheel to then come across the finish line. So I actually made it worse for another guy, and he still managed to do it. So not trying to badmouth my own fitness, but that's I had an opportunity, and that I gave it my all. I got to maybe 1,000 watts or so, but I got a third, which is worth nothing, 0 points, but it was fun, feels good. And we are about to get neutralized a second time in the exact same spot we got neutralized last time. But this, I think, is the full race. So I think that, okay, I do think that was the breakaway from the 1, 2, 3s that neutralized us the last lap, and now we're getting neutralized by the body of the race. So the bulk of the guys. And it's going to create a problem for a teammate. He's going to clip a pedal on the inside here in just a little bit on the left. Somebody's going to look back. Boom, teammate goes down. Somebody looks back, crosses wheels, mashes in the barrier. What I should have done here is just kept going like everybody else. But you can't, it's like he can't help it, right? Like the guy went down directly in front of me. I had to stop. I patted his shoulder, said, "Hey, you're okay?" He's like, "I'm okay." I checked with my teammate. "Hey, are you okay?" He's okay. I'm like, "Okay, let me get back in this." I did this, you guys. I did the same freaking thing at Mason Lake. There was a crash in front of me. I could have kept going, and I instinctively just stop. I just slow down, right? It's just like this. It's like for bike racing, it's a terrible freaking instinct, you guys. And now here I am. I'm all by myself. And I'm out of the race, but I see two guys up the road, and I'm like, okay, screw it. I'm here. I'm in my Mercs TT mode, right? I've got my forearms on the handlebar. That's why my camera's pointing down. I'm tucked super low, and I'm gonna try to catch this pair up here. And I want you to keep in mind my FTP for my body weight is not very good. It's about 300. Okay. And I know I shouldn't be doing 400 freaking watts or whatever I'm doing right now. I should be doing 330 or something. But I feel like I can catch these guys who are probably 8 seconds up the road. But I feel like I can catch them. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go hard. If I can catch this group of two, then what we can do, and this is, I actually am thinking about this, right? I'm conscious about this in my head. Okay, what are the options? How can I fix this? I can catch this group of two, and then the race itself is going to surge, and then what's the word for it? Slow, right? It's just I don't know what the word is for it. There's a bunch up or whatever, right? And my thought is, if I get with this group of two, we'll make a group of three, and then we can just pace line. And if we keep a consistent speed, this is all going through my head, right? I'm feeling very hopeful. If we can keep a consistent speed, we can get back into the race. And that's where my head's at right now, because I've been having a blast. I did a couple things in this race. I attacked once. I let out once. Having a lot of fun. I don't want to be out of this race, okay? So I'm putting in this effort, and you can see my heart rate's coming up. So if I'm doing a time trial, or if I'm trying to do threshold, I have to keep my heart rate under 170. So if I can keep my heart rate in 167, 168 or so, I can maintain that pace. I can't maintain a pace at 172 BPM. And I am looking down and I'm seeing it, but I'm just God, I got to catch these guys. If I can just catch these guys, I can sit on their wheel for 30 seconds and I'm back in it, right? But you can see already my power starts to drop, right? What's happening here, right, is I'm stopping pedaling for 2 seconds and taking a deep breath and then continuing to pedal. That's how I know, watching this video, that I was the crash was a minute ago, and I'm already in the hurt locker. 175 BPM. I'm over threshold. I'm in the drops now. My head's, the reason you're looking at the concrete is my head's way down. I'm just trying to get as aero as I can. you know, I'm in the drops, like my forearms are like parallel to the ground, and I'm looking, and I'll use some polite language. Son of a gun, the two guys that I was trying to catch decided to call it, and they pulled over here. And I think they probably let the guys know, hey, there was a crash, and they decided to take themselves out of the race. And lo and be freaking hold, my luck, the third race my girlfriend ever comes to watch, she shows up, that's her in there on the right, she shows up right after I get dropped. Or not dropped, right after I get kicked out of the race. So it looks like I'm dropped. So she goes all out of her way to come watch me. And the moment she walks up, you guys, I'm out of the back of the race. Ugh, terrible. Oh, like I felt like I was racing so well. You know, like what probably would have happened, right? Because I saw her as I was looking for her on every lap. Is I probably would have attacked again. You know, done some showboaty thing, right? I mean, you know, I spend 6 to 10 hours a week riding my bike and doing all this stupid bicycle stuff. Like, you know, I want to look good when she shows up, right? Of course, she shows up and I'm riding all by myself. So she's been to 2 other races. Okay, one race was Monroe last year, and I was in the mix the whole time. And then the other race was Skycomish, where I got dropped. Sorry, the battery died on my camera. But anyways, I'm gonna drop over to. I'm not gonna talk. But I'm gonna drop over to some like post race, just chatter and little interviews and stuff. Here we go. Here's Noah.
That was good. All right, guys. How'd it go?
Good.
Perfect.
Me and Dad.
Matt, how'd it go?
Great day. Super fun.
Nice job, buddy.
Did you see Daniel at the end? We were like bringing him up to see him.
I got caught behind a crash and
How did you get there?
I
go down.
Nothing.
no, I didn't go down. Zach did.
Nothing.
Oh yeah, I saw
Zach,
that.
he hit his pedal on
Yeah,
the turn,
if
I
get
think.
a point for every
This
third
is his
place.
bike. He shredded
I'd
his
be a
tire and
winner.
scratched up his rim. He's like at the medic right now. He like had a gash on his
That
elbow.
was rough.
What was the result?
I
I
didn't
mean,
win, that's for sure.
what was the result for the last lap? Daniel, you look wrecked, dude.
I know Rob wasn't the.
He sniped my wheel. He took second. I took third.
In the final lap,
Yeah.
you got third.
Oh yeah.
Podium, baby.
third.
Or actually, no, podium we points per lap. How'd you do, Eric?
Finish.
You finished?
What? That is.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Super good.
Oh, nice.
I went around like the far outside. I was like going on the. It was like the long way around.
Does anybody feel like they might podium? Enough points?
Daniel did.
Wait, do I get a point for third place? Because I got like 5 points then. I'm just
5
kidding.
points is okay.
Nah, we're like, nah. I lost there a few times. Dude, that was painful, man. That was rough.
Yeah.
I've never heard JD in a race go, I feel like shit, dude. I've never heard you say that before.
And he was fresh today. He said, I'm fresh, I'm good to
Maybe
go.
that's the problem. Too fresh.
I got Get him out now before this weekend.
This is my girlfriend Cindy, by the way.
Hey, Cindy. I'm JD. Nice to meet you.
She'll be out at Bloom.
Nice.
Dude, I went so many times, I went hard. I lost track, man. Good job. That was rough.
I saw you. I saw you try to solo from like a freaking kilometer out.
He jumped from
You almost
I
made
had
it.
it for like just a few times, and every time the same 2 guys would come behind me.
Yeah.
Actually, Brent, you were watching, right? Did you see that mystery there? Like every time they would steal that sprint from me. It's hard to figure out what's going on. So many people right now.
How'd you do, man?
Spicy race. Tried to catch the front group on lap 3 and blew up.
Yep, blew up. Perfect.
It's a good experience though.
Nice, man.
You get stronger every time I come.
That's right, buddy. Nice job. Go check on Zach.
Yeah, he was bleeding pretty good.
Yeah, they went down hard. Shot, man.
Good run, man.
It's a good wheel to be on, Big Matt. I gotta come get it on camera. You're still alive.
Yeah, still alive.
I don't know if I got your crash on camera, but I saw it, dude. It was like,
I'm pissed about that neutral, man.
oh.
That was they neutralized, and I was on the inside, and nobody gave me space to get back in. I had to cut it hard.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, you got caught.
So I got caught inside, and it was like, okay, I either take the barrier or I clip a pedal. And I was like, well, fuck it, we'll clip a pedal and see how we go.
Did you get? Oh, you didn't get banged up.
All
Can I
things
see it?
considered, that too bad.
Considering how hard and loud you went down, that's not too bad.
The only damage is a burped out wheel and just a new tire.
Cindy's like, that's not good, right? His tires, I'm like, yeah, his tire's done. Well, I got it on tape. You're right in front of me.
Yeah.
So,
Please post that.
I don't know. I mean, like, when you think about it in 2020, I'm like, did he like totally flip or tumble or what happened? I don't know, but you just like tucked right into the guardrail. You were just sitting there. I was like, all right, well, he's alive. Yeah, your knee's a little.
I got up and I was like, I'm good. I can still ride, and I just felt my wheel. I'm like, oh no, I got the slow roll of a dead tire. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.